Um, having gone through a very intense personal time myself, with having lost my beloved brother who died at 90 years of age, and at the same time having the joy of the birth of a new little grandson, it was very intense. And it had just brought my attention to the fact that I want to underline tonight, as to why we actually set up our courses the way we did. And the reason is that it's about our personal lives. Logotherapy is not a theory. It's not a method of counseling. It's all about your unique life, your personal life, you know, and this is a fundamental principle of logotherapy. We each have a will to meaning, but it's a will to find personally meaning in our own unique lives. And it is as we learn to do that, as logotherapy assists us as to where to put the focus and how to become, you know, mindfully aware of what it is that we're being asked to do or challenged to be, or what we are expected to do in each and every day-to-day circumstance and situation, that we really begin to find the kind of focus that brings a sense of direction into our lives. And, you know, that clarifies a specific purpose that we have, we each one individually. And that is why we are so intensely concerned and interested concerned about and interested in each of your personal lives. And the Optimal Living course especially has the focus on who you are, how you experience things, where you're searching for meaning, and to help you find it. You know, I gave a talk on the sacred boundaries of responsibility. And your logotherapy course is really like a structure. And that is what makes it so important, because it makes you aware of your unique responsibilities. And what is responsibility? It's an accountable answer to a call that comes to you. It's to respond to a conversation that your life has with you. And it's a unique conversation. But logotherapy helps you to listen and to hear. And what is more, to respond in the one right way in each and every situation. And then your life begins to take on this, what Frankl calls the tension of direction. What is that tension? It's inspirational. There's a future that draws you. You know, you're on your way to a destined end for you, not for anybody else. I want to just share an experience I had yesterday afternoon that brought these truths home so rivetingly to me. I was visiting friends. It's a husband and wife, where the husband, he was a famous and renowned neonatal specialist and had done breakthrough research in the care of neonates, newborn babies, especially if they are having difficulties and there are little dysfunctions or even severe dysfunctions. But the point is, this great man that had done so much in his life has been afflicted with a muscular disease that is degenerative. And we've seen him starting to walk awkwardly, to the point and speaking with difficulty, to the point where he is now, he cannot lift his head. He's in a special chair. He cannot speak. And he cannot eat in an ordinary way. But and he's got a setup of a computer in front of him on a stand. And he communicates by moving his eyes onto different letters that form a word and form a sentence that then at the end of the sentence, there is a sound and what he has spelled out is actually said in a voice that you can hear. But it was looking at the eyes of this man, at his facial expression, that brought home such an awareness of the person behind that ever deteriorating physical body of his. He was in his eyes. There was extreme intelligence in his eyes. His creative being shone through, and he's got a terrific sense of humor that he still likes to say something in a humorous and thought-provoking way that make you laugh, but at the same time hits a truth home to you. And I thought, wow, that's it, to be on that destined path, that at the end of your life, because we are all in some way or other going to die. There's going to be an end to this life, but it's so dependent on how you live that defines that end. And to really see a person that have found his end, that has come to his end in such a full way and with such wonderful achievements behind him, not only in terms of his work, but he and his wife, falling in love with each other when they were young, has had the most wonderful marriage. And she is the most devoted wife out of a sense of love. She is with him virtually 24 hours a day. And, it wasn't a sad spectacle. It was an inspiring visit and to be with this man. And it so brought home to me the urgency of spelling out things for ourselves, of clarifying things for ourselves. And, I was reminded of the story of the schizophrenic patient that actually related his story to Frankl, that he was strapped down and in the episode of severe schizophrenia. And I would imagine in this kind of prison-like room in a mental hospital. And he said he felt totally alone. He needed to go to the toilet, but there wasn't a way to get somebody's attention. And in that moment of complete physical and also mental helplessness, His unscathed human spirit broke through. Isn't it incredible that he said in that moment, he felt that God was there. The life giver was there. His life was there before him, and he felt that he needed to recover because there was something that only he could do. Nobody else. Something that his life was requiring of him to be part of the bigger picture of the human story. And this is it, you know, this is it. For us to have that almost aha realization in our lives and saying, this is it. This is what I want. This is where I want to go. This is me and my life. And I'm going to live it with purpose and dedication and with a vision of the future. You know, last time, as we were talking, and I would like to have a similar discussion afterwards, and I'm not going to take up so much time. What came out in your responses to Pan's amazing story, of those of you who were here, was the themes that emerged was so fantastic. And it actually shows that, you know, fundamentally, we are all aware, even if Frankel calls it the unconscious God. It's an intuitive knowledge, really, of what is to be. Oh, wow, you know what our lives really are about. It's, we know it, we know it, we know it. It just has to come to our conscious minds and to break through all the struggles of searching and doubts and confusions and falling about and hurts and pains and distresses, that it comes through. And, you know, it's like our lives suddenly are like a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces of hurt, of distress, of whatever we've experienced, also our moments of joy and where we found meaning, where it all kind of falls into a discernible picture that is so inspiring, that says, you know, every single moment of our lives has meaning. And if we realize that and we become mindful of it and we become focused in on it, wow, you know, then that future opens up to us, because these are the themes. Remember, Pan, that there was a discussion of the need to live a life that can pass on the torch. Can you remember who actually said that? Was it Dinio? Where she came to a realization that, you know, everything that she had learned in her life, especially in terms of finding meaning in suffering and maturing and becoming a refined, almost like a sharp instrument in her own spirit, that everything in her life had worked together to make her who she was in a triumphantly authentic way. She could say, this is me. And she said how important that was for her in terms of passing on the torch to especially her children, to a next generation. And, you know, this is what Frankel spoke about, the rich granaries of the past, where all our experiences that we have learned from, every experience that we learn from, that we gain meaning from, that we grow from, are eternalized. It's beyond the spoiling or the destruction of anybody or anything. It's eternalized. It's who you are, my word, that is what you take into the hereafter with you, who you were. That's it. And you know, we don't have to talk about the hereafter, but the glory of that singular, magnificent truth that we've become part of, which is beyond, if we read the Bible, beyond anything that we can imagine or think. So magnificent it is. But you know, it's that kind of hope that opens up as a future, as a call that comes from the future. And this in then it was followed after this passing on the torch. I think it was Sharon that mentioned the importance of hope. Because what is hope? You know, hope is a faith that expects things to happen the way that you deeply trust, what Frankl calls a basic trust in being. I know that my being has purpose and value and worth. It's something awesomely beautiful. Wow. And that opens the door that, wow, I want to live my life to the optimum. I want to live on an optimal level and not waste anything, but gather this rich memories into the past that have been eternalized and have become who I actually am. And that was, you know, where we discussed then that hope is like a door that opens into the future. It's an expectation. And, you know, in contrast, what Frankl described as the debilitating effects of what he called anticipatory anxiety. What is anticipatory anxiety? It's the fear of the future. And why is the future feared? Because you haven't found your footing in life. Because you haven't become anchored in who you are. So, you know, you get tossed about with every wind of change, and you are frightened because you've got no securing structure of a responsible life. And you project into that future your uncertainty, your lack of self-esteem, your fear of being attacked, your fear of being humiliated, your fear of being extinguished. And that's when psychosis steps in. So often I've seen that with autistic children that actually experience the terror of the extinction of their very lives, which is what? The extinction of their very persons. So in contrast to this, when we, and this is why it's so important for you as logotherapy students to find that anchor in yourself. Why? There's a world out there of people suffering this doubt and this confusion and being thrown about, not knowing who they are, and who are oppressed and suffer injustice. Oh my, are they looking for people like you? Beacons of light, that's what you're supposed to be. And that is your calling. That is the specific thing that you can do in your life with the people that come across your path, and it comes across nobody else's path as they do across yours. And those are the clients that you know, I've always been amazed at this, and I brought it under the attention of our students when they start counseling and saying, listen, don't think this is just something happenstance. You know, that you're getting a client, you canvassing a client, and you know, it doesn't matter who it is. It matters who it is. And it is somebody that is assigned particularly to you. I don't care at which level of understanding and wisdom you are, but that client is meant to come into conversation with you, because not only will that client be helped exactly by what you have to give, but you will be helped by that client to gain greater wisdom and understanding, compassion. And now we come to the last thing that was mentioned last time: love. I have stated, and it's a fact, that logotherapy is a therapy of love. Now, you know, I was reminded in this regard about, it's a story about a famous Jewish sage called Hillel, that he was approached by somebody and said, you know, well, you've got such a strong faith. Tell me, while I stand on one leg, in that short time that I can stand on one leg, what it is you believe, what makes you who you are. And Hillel answered, whatever you do not want anybody to do to you, do not do that to others. And I find that extremely powerful, because, you know, it actually highlights what is described as the whole essence of the way God wants us to live. You love your neighbor as yourself. But wait a moment. How do you become yourself? You know, how do you escape all of these kind of self-absorbed ideas? And, you know, even selfishness, because you're uncertain about yourself. So you grab from life, you take from life instead of giving. How do you get there? It's when you begin to see, you know, like Frankl said, why do we suffer? And if you subtract pain and death and our fallibility from life, you destroy its meaning. Now, it's the only therapy that actually propagates these truths. Every other therapy seeks to make you feel better and make you more adjusted. You know, like Frankl said, seeks a psychological equilibrium. I want to be happy. Wait a moment. I can't care whether I'm happy or not. You know what? If I need to suffer like I did with the death of my brother, oh boy, is that meaningful. Why must I always be happy? God, that sounds so shallow. And if somebody is suffering, will I not suffer with them? You know, will I be happy while everybody else is having a hard time? Wait a moment, happiness is not my goal. Meaning is. And therefore, suffering, like Frankl said, makes us aware of what ought not to be. I will not do this to others, what they are doing to me. And this is a fundamental change if you come to the counseling part of your studies. That is where you're going to find what it is. What is the crisis of meaning in your client's life? Where is the crisis? Where is it that they experienced what should never have been done to them? And what are you going to do? Are you going to try and kind of soft soaping that problem, or are you going into the depths of it in saying, why did you suffer that way? What is it that you really wanted and that you didn't get? That's why you're suffering. Well, like Frankl said, suffering makes us aware of what ought not to be. That was wrong, what happened to me. The neglect, the abuse that I suffered, the rejection, it was wrong. I will not do it to anybody else. Because why? this is what I really want. I want love in my life. I want to be able to love others unconditionally, because you know what? Actually, I am unconditionally loved. Everything that I need to fulfill my destiny has been given to me in love. Like it said in that wonderful scripture where God says, I know the plans I have for you. Plans of good, not of evil, to give you a desired end of triumph, spiritual triumph, that you can look back on your life and say, I did it. I did what I was called to do. I became the person I was meant to be. And now there's laid up a crown of reward for me. I know that. Oh, wow. To have this inspirational intervention in the lives of not only your clients, but to be in this encouraging, uplifting way in all of your relationships, to never say a harsh word to anybody, least of all to slander somebody, least of all to put somebody down. You are there to uplift others. And wow, you can do it every moment of your life, even if you're at a counter doing shopping, and the person who serves you, you can look in their eyes and smile and say, thank you. And thank you for serving me so well. You can always lift anybody's spirit, even as you walk along the street and you just meet somebody's eyes and give them a smile of recognition. Oh God, it's a wonderful life. So that's what I wanted to say to you this evening. Now, oh my goodness, oh, how quickly the time flies. Well, we've got 10 minutes.
Sorry, Teria, we've got 6 minutes.
Oh my goodness me,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Listen, you know what? Please, here's a suggestion. And it's a serious one. Your thoughts that have been provoked, put them down and email them to us. And you know, this just opens up a next discussion, okay? But all right, can we have just a remark or two, just to know that you're there, that I spoke to people that are actually here. Okay. So Nikki, I saw your face. You were very interested. What do you feel right now?
Thank you. Sure. I've taken so many notes and there's so many thoughts going through my head. So, I
There we
mean,
go.
really looking at my own crisis, which I will share with everyone one day. I don't think now is quite the time. But sort of that was such an aha moment, So you look at logotherapy and you're wanting to study it so that you can counsel and help other people. But you went right in the beginning. You spoke about, you've got to find who you are, and understand what your crisis is or was, and finding the meaning in that. So I found that incredibly powerful. So that and spiritual triumph, you becoming what you were meant to be.
Oh, well, and I see Lisa agreed with it in saying that it also gave you an aha moment. Now, Nikki, I don't think I've chosen your face and your person just by chance. You say sometime, oh, Mombusa also there. Oh, that Nikki, I think it's so meaningful, and it will help us so much if you have the courage, and it's within the intimacy of our learning structure, so it's so confidential. If you do share your crisis with us. If and let's talk about it. Can we book you for our next meeting?
Yes, with pleasure. I mean, I'll gladly share my story. And I mean, perhaps what I'll do is meet with Coral before that and just chat it through with her, because I'm very new to logotherapy. So I would like it to
Okay.
be relevant, but absolutely, I will do that.
You are relevant, and nothing that you say can be irrelevant. Okay. So yes, let's do that. And I am actually encouraging every one of you to be coming to share. I think that's a great learning experience, because then you'll also, if we share your crises, and if you have the courage to tell your story, and we can share it together in terms of its meaning, you'll learn so much, and it makes it much more personal and real. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do that.
All right, everyone. It was so great to be with you tonight. It's always an inspiration for me.